Jarrell!
Give me some of that money.
Hey!
Give me some of that money. Give me some of that money.
Wait, don't do that.
Is that weird?
That's very weird. Don't do that. 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 Oh my gosh, where's my phone? That's my phone right there. What is good, Ecamm Fam? What is good, Creative Fam? Hey, how did the transportation work? Did YouTube bring y'all over? Did YouTube bring y'all over? Let me know in the chat right now. Did YouTube bring you over? Shout out to the Creative Fam who is currently rocking with the Ecamm Fam. And we are here having a blast, bro. All right, y'all know what I need to do right now, though. Y'all know what I need to do? I need to bring the lights up. I need to bring the lights up because your boy is melanated and I need a little bit of light. Oh, there we go. So much better. So much better. Yo, shout out to our Ecamm Fam who is rocking with us today. And if you are only a part of the Ecamm Fam and you're not a part of the Creative Fam, you maybe don't know my co-host, but Mr. Jarrell Peak is in the building today.
What's good, Ecamm Fam?
Yo, we are rocking it out on Ecamm today. And as y'all know, today we are talking about how to make that run. If you know, you know. But we talking about how to make that money today. Yes. We're making it rain over here, Jarrell. I like how it flows.
Bro, can I get $1?
Can I get
one? Can I get one?
Yo, shout out to everybody currently in the chat. Let's bring up some of this stuff. Colton says flawless transition. Bro, that's so sick.
We try sometimes.
We trying, y'all.
Sometimes.
We be trying that new. Hey, shout out to everybody here. We got 82 people right now watching us live over on Ecamm. Do me a huge favor. Hit the thumbs up button if you're ready to learn how to make that Ron, aka how to make that moolah when it comes to building a live streaming audience. Look, I've been telling y'all over the last few weeks for our Ecamm Fam that we've been talking about how to build a live stream show, and I have had the pleasure of building it with Mr. Jarrell Peak, who is in the building. He is also a videographer, filmmaker, freelancer, but he also does my show with me every single Friday, and we have thoroughly fallen into the world of live streaming. But Jarrell, is live streaming cheap?
It is not, but you know what, Brandon?
What's that?
Bro, is this the first super chat on the anatomy of a live stream?
Yo,
are we getting that Ron?
We getting that Ron. Hey!
Let's go.
Yo, shout out to you, Adrian. We really appreciate you spinning that Ron over here on Ecamm, because literally you actually got to help us sort of kick off the first portion of today's deal, which is you can start making money on YouTube almost instantly. Look, I understand that when it comes to trying to monetize a channel, a lot of people think, okay, the first thing I have to do is like grow my channel. I have to try to get it as big as I can possibly get it. And then at some point, either YouTube will offer me monetization, or, I'm going to get the opportunity to, get super chats or super thanks coming in. But super chats is just one way you can actually make money when it comes to live streaming and creating content. Another way that you can easily do this is honestly just by offering up your own service. I mean, we're going to be talking about a few different ways that we have actually made money on YouTube. And so what I want you guys to do, with this being, sort of a continuation from our stream over on the Uncensored channel or the Creative Fam live channel to this one, is we are going to be keeping it with that Q&A element. So if you guys have questions that you would like us to actually answer about how you can make money on the internet, whether that is directly through super chats, brand deals, selling your own products, digital or mentorships, whatever that might be, we want you guys to put those questions in the chat. So do us a huge favor. Put a Q, colon, and then put your question in so that way we can answer your questions live. I got to do something real quick because currently we have 84 people who are rocking with us live. And so I just got to give a quick shout out to all of the amazing Creative Fam people who have shown up. So if you are on the Creative Fam, if you are a member of the Creative Fam, if you rock with the Uncensored channel that we do every single week, do me a favor, sound off in the chat so Ecamm knows the Creative Fam showed up. Do me a favor, do that right now in the chat. Go ahead and put it in there so that way we can let them know, hey, the Creative Fam, we show up.
We out here. We out here.
Bro, we out here. So super excited about today's deal. Yes, and as Ecamm is telling you right now, drop a Q and we'll answer your questions live. All right, Jarrell.
Yes.
So when it comes to starting the mindset of making money from your live stream show, from your YouTube account. When we say that the size of your channel doesn't matter, I think one thing that we have done is we definitely believe that the size does not matter.
Yeah.
But what we do believe is that the quality of your audience is what matters. Like, for example, right now, chat, we literally just said, hey, CFA sound off, right? And as you guys can see, in the chat right now, Carlos is in here. Shout out to Carlos in the building. Mr. Camera Junkie, he's a Ecamm/Creative Fam. So he's kind of sitting on both sides. Colton is in here. Why can't I read that? Let him in. He's taught me how to say this before.
Yeah. Our bad.
My bad. I'm
Bad.
dyslexic. Ron in the building. But the reason why I'm saying this and why I'm showing you guys all these amazing people from the actual Creative Fam who are here is because sometimes you don't need to have a lot of people, but you just need to have the right people.
Yes.
And so one thing that I really love about what we've done over on our channel is that because of the type of content that we make on a consistent basis, Jarrell, would you say that we have sort of brought together a community of like-minded individuals?
Yeah, that's probably been the biggest thing that we've done. We have found our people have found us, and I know the way, like, you can create videos on YouTube or whatever platform you do.
100%.
And, bro, without the right community of people, you feel alone, you feel unsupported, you feel like, man, I don't even know if I want to do this. But Friday live streams with the right people have changed the game.
Yes, 100%. I don't think I could do a Friday without doing this show. Like, we've talked about this before, but like in a few weeks, my son's gonna be playing in the World Series. And last year, I had to take like 3 weeks off of the show. I don't think I can do that again this year. Like, I'm going to have to figure out how to take the show on the road because I absolutely love doing our live stream on a weekly basis. And so one thing that I will tell you is that before you even start really considering how you want to make money online, one of the first things you want to really think about is what type of audience do you want to bring together? Because Jarrell can definitely speak to it. We had this conversation from the beginning, and don't hold anything back. Tell them the truth. When we started doing this show, one of the first things I told Jarrell was I was like, we're going to build the show that we want to build, and it will attract the type of people we want to hang out with.
100%. No, and literally what you got to be willing to endure is the early days of nobody showing up or very few people showing up.
Yeah.
Brandon already had a really big channel, but when we decided to go live, that didn't mean it translated into a ton of people watching the Uncensored podcast immediately. But you stay diligent and you literally continue going live. And then it's not just about being consistent. It's about upping it every single week and figuring out that chemistry. And once you do, you will find the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. Rare Factions asks a quick question. He says, what's more valuable? A show that teaches your clients how to make better content, or one that brings local freelancers together to connect and collaborate? All right, so Rare Factions. This is, I think, is a very, very important thing. When you start thinking about your audience, because what you're asking about is like two totally different audiences, right? Your clients versus other freelance videographers. What you have to ask yourself is, who do you want to serve? Because ultimately, when it comes to an audience, I think a lot of creators, and this is going to maybe sound like I'm throwing a little shade, but because we're on Ecamm's channel and not my channel, I don't care. So, sorry, I'm a little reckless. I took a swig of that Red Bull and got a little reckless. But what happens is when you think about just trying to grow really fast, there's a lot of ways you can grow a channel really fast. You can talk about toxic things because toxic things just naturally attract people, right? You could talk about negative stories, but what happens is you attract people who are negatively minded. And you got to ask yourself, do you want to serve those people? Now, I'm not saying your clients or videographers is that way, but that is sort of the mindset you want to have is like when it comes to creating content, especially content that you plan to monetize at some point, you have to think about how you want to actually serve that group. And so for me, when it comes to creating content, I already serve my clients. So I'm not really trying to make more content to spend more time with my clients. I actually want to spend more time with other creators. And when I am just like not working on a client project, for me, I find myself calling all my creative homies, whether that's Jarrell or other shooters that I know in the Houston area, or even some of my creator homies that aren't even in the area, like Cam or Kofi or other creators in the YouTube space. Those are the people who I spend my time with. And so when it comes to creating content online, I've always said that you should try to find the audience and the people who you would spend time with for free. Because those are going to be the people that are going to be the easiest for you to serve long time. And so if you can do it that way, I find that that's going to be better. And you have a little bit of a better experience online. And also with those people, when it comes to trying to monetize what you're doing, it becomes a situation where you could ask yourself, all right, I know these people really well. So I know what they actually need versus what they don't. Like, for example, we joked about this. I don't know if it was on this stream or on the stream on our channel, but we joked about how I've had companies reach out to me to have me try to, push products that don't have nothing to do with my audience. Like they'll send me a trash can or like a vacuum or just like random stuff. And it's like, even though yes, technically I could make money talking about these things, it would not provide any value to the audience, which ultimately I think every single week, that's what we aim to do.
Yeah, Doc actually put this in the comments talking to Mike, but you kept saying this word serve. You have to be so careful when you get on YouTube that, yes, create the content that you want to create, but if you're not bringing value, if you're not serving someone, I hate to say this, because a lot of people make this mistake. I made this mistake on YouTube. I'm sure Brandon made this mistake on YouTube. You be making content that ain't nobody care to watch, and then it's like difficult. So if you didn't catch anything out from what he said, like how are you serving? How are you bringing value? How are you literally giving that to your audience so that they want to return to you? If you become this country club where it's just for you and maybe just for your friends or just for your family, don't be surprised when people don't show up.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think you get people who rock with you for a long time. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I just saw a comment come in. Trademarked Film says, I've been following Brandon since he started his channel. I think it was a Canon 80D review that got me to subscribe. Do you know how long ago that was?
Seriously.
That's crazy. That's sub 5,000 followers, I think. Subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So shout out to you, Trademark Films, for just rocking with me for as long as you have. But literally, it just comes down to who do you want to serve and who do you want to actually hang out with, especially when it comes to live streams, because so much of live streams has to do with the community and the actual connection. That's the reason why I think we fell in love with live streaming, is because it's that instant conversation. It's instant.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot different than just posting a video and people having a different experience. You get a chance to actually experience it with them in real time. So this is that's one of the things I think you absolutely need to understand. Now, we're going to talk about how you actually monetize. I'm going to give you guys some step-by-step things you can do. But before we do that, I'm going to answer this question from Mike. Mike says, I know you're having a discussion on growing live. Sorry, it covered up live streams. But I do want to ask for suggestions to grow a YouTube channel as a photographer/videographer. So here's the thing. Everything we're going to talk about going forward, especially when it comes to monetization and even growth, as far as I'm concerned, the metrics are about the same. Whether it is for a video or whether it's about live streaming or it's a podcast, this part of this anatomy of a live stream works no matter what, because whether you're posting videos or you're posting live streams, both of them require that you think about your audience and how you want to serve that audience. It thinks about what is valuable to that audience. You also have to be very careful with how you ask from your audience, because ultimately, let's just keep it a buck real quick, chat. Everybody consumes YouTube selfishly. And I'm putting that in quotations because no one's intending to be selfish when they consume YouTube, but it's just an act of consuming content. When you go watch a movie in the theaters, shout out to you if you saw Sinners, dope. And I'm kind of mad that it's not in IMAX because I can't go see it again in IMAX because the freaking Thunderbolts came out. Side note, ain't nobody going to see that in IMAX. But what's crazy is when you start thinking about consuming content and you think about how you do it a little selfishly. You think, okay, what do I like? I like action, or I'm feeling like a comedy. Like, this happens to me a lot. I've had a rough day, like multiple bad things happen, putting out fires, whatever. I go home. Yeah, I love Marvel, but I just want to laugh. So put on some Adam Sandler and let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to have a good day. It's a selfish decision. And so when you think about your audience, they are consuming content that they find either valuable or entertaining. And so when you're creating that content, whether it's a live stream or it's a video, both of them have to serve that audience the way they want to be served in that moment. And so that's why when it comes to things like, the structure of your videos, your thumbnails, how you engage with chat if you're doing live streams, you have to be thinking about your audience first. And so that is definitely one of the things that I would say, Mike, is no matter what you're doing from the jump, really start thinking about how your audience is consuming and grabbing value from it. So then that way you can continue to serve that, because if one person finds value in it, chances are there's a ton of other people who will also find value in it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Actually, Jarrell, how do we, I know I'm kind of throwing you on the spot here. What is one thing that we do before every single show on our whiteboard that we do when we get ready for the show?
We consult ChatGPT. I'm just playing. No. I think one of the things that we do absolutely in a show is we create a structure to the show, and that's just so important because we tend to get off topic and we tend to drift, but we want to make sure that we're providing that value, and so we don't want to just aimlessly wander through a video or a live stream. We want to make sure we know what we're talking about, we're hitting our talking points, and we want the freedom to be able to go from it, but we also just want to make sure that if you're going to dedicate time to come watch us, we're talking about things that you guys care about.
Absolutely. All right. So now let's talk about the different ways that you can actually start making money now with whatever size channel you have. Now, I'm going to tell you, there are a few things that require, there's a little bit of gatekeeping that happens, and it's not for anything. It's not for any wrong reasons. It just happens. Like, for example, if you start posting content on YouTube and you want to monetize your channel via ads, which is probably one of the easiest ways and one of the ways that a lot of people think about starting to monetize their channel, you do have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours as of right now, which today is April 2nd, 2025, right? However, that is not the only way you can monetize through your channel. Obviously, on this live stream, we've already seen an amazing super chat come in from Adrian. It's funny. He super chats on our main channel all the time, throwing that Ron in there. But what's really interesting is that when you create something that people find value in, there is a way for them to directly contribute to you. Now, I understand that super chats are not immediately open for everyone when you first start a YouTube stream. However, there are multiple ways that you can actually take in funds directly from your audience, whether that is through a direct link, a Cash App, something along those lines. If you're providing value to people, people will support you. And we have already seen that take place just through our channel alone. But I'm actually going to tell you guys about a quick little story about how super chats actually make a bigger difference than just making money. Because I know for a lot of people, they're like, oh, it feels weird if I make money or these things. Like it can be a little like there's a little bit of tension in it. Last week we were live, and one of our good friends, Duncan Johnson, is a DP. Right? He's an amazing DP in the Houston area, and we've worked with him on a few of our projects. And then a couple days ago, we went behind the scenes on one of his projects. And he was DPing the thing, and he provided so much value to our audience. Well, then, unfortunately, right after that shoot, he was actually in a car accident. And we told our audience about this because we wanted to do something for him and put together a little get well gift. And the way, Creative Fam, I know y'all are in here, the way y'all came to his side and the way that, our audience, it's weird because I'm speaking to Ecamm Fam and Creative Fam, but the way the Creative Fam came together and through super chats donated money to go directly to Duncan, it was such a moving moment that well over $200 was actually given directly to go to Duncan just as a, hey, hopefully this makes your life a little easier. You can DoorDash something, because he's obviously recovering from the accident. And so that just goes to show that if you do have something and you have an audience that you are serving and that makes an impact, people are also good people. And so whether support is needed because of a traumatic situation or people just want to support what you're doing as a creator, you can have direct relationships with your audience in a way where they will financially actually give to you, whether, like I said, you're just doing it to help make your channel better or you're doing it to actually support somebody else. And honestly, that's one of the biggest things that I love about our audience is that in times of need, they always seem to just sort of come together.
Yeah, dude, that was so cool. I feel like when the community comes together, everything gets stronger. And man, I know that regardless of the amount of money, people knowing that people were praying for Duncan, people that were giving money and just care about him was just super dope.
100%. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, this is another reason why it's so important to understand your audience. So me and Jarrell, we have this thing, and I taught you guys this last week. I'm going to see if I still have it up and ready so I can actually trigger it. But we know our audience, and our audience loves to have a good time because we built a show for people who love having a good time. We like to have a good time, so we're dancing. As you guys saw, we were throwing, it's prop money, y'all. Calm down. We're throwing prop money around. But we're having a good time, and we build that so that way our audience also enjoys that. And so on our stream, we have it happen where whenever somebody actually super chats, we will have graphics and we'll have, music play and we'll dance and we'll have a good time out of it. And that's our way of basically serving our audience in real time for their generous donations to the show. But also, because we know our audience, we also know what they enjoy and how they actually receive value. So, for example, we do have a smaller channel in the scope of, YouTube as a whole. I think we're at
6,300, a little bit less maybe.
Yeah, so maybe we're just under 6,300 subscribers on our channel, which for a lot of people would make you think that, oh, that channel's maybe a little too small to have brands reaching out. And I'll be honest with you, you're right. Not a lot of brands reach out at a channel with 6,300. However, you can still reach out directly to these brands. And so I'm going to tell you guys exactly how I actually did this for an event that we had not too long ago. So it was Christmas time and we were planning on doing a really big show. And we knew that this show was going to require, I needed to bring in somebody to sort of help produce it because I had to be on the show. We also were going to have, I think, up to 10 guests come in on the show. And so we knew that we wanted this show to be sponsored just alone to cover the cost for us to be able to go a little bit above and beyond what our audience is used to getting on a traditional uncensored episode. And so I immediately started thinking about, okay, who could potentially sponsor this episode? And so I started reaching out to some of those companies. And this is why I say it's so important for you to really understand who your audience is. Our audience loves camera gear. I mean, shout out Creative Fam. If you're in love with camera gear. I'm sure a bunch of people here in Ecamm are also in love with camera gear. And so when it comes to that idea of, camera gear and owning gear, for us, it kind of made sense that the perfect sponsor for that episode was B&H. Now, I had to reach out and figure out who the right person was to contact at B&H. And there's a few different ways you can do that. You can go directly through the contact form on a website. Secret side note, go find them on LinkedIn. Because a lot of people don't get a lot of direct messages on LinkedIn the way you think they might. And so finding people through LinkedIn is a cheat code, because not only do they put their information in there, but they'll actually put their exact title. So if it's like head of marketing or head of influencer relations or whatever, that stuff is on LinkedIn. So you can find people that way. But you reach out to them, and when you do, it doesn't really necessarily matter the size of your audience as much as it matters who the audience is. Because one thing that every company out there is trying to do is get in front of the right audience. Like, for example, this is just me giving you guys a little peek behind the curtains. I work directly with Ecamm. And the reason why I do that is because we use Ecamm on a weekly basis. We live stream on a weekly basis. But we also know that creators, our audience, can benefit from what Ecamm offers, because we know that we have benefited from what Ecamm offers. So it doesn't feel weird for us to talk about Ecamm on our show, even on episodes where they're not even sponsoring, because we know that it offers a service that they actually need. And so we did the same thing for that Christmas episode. We reached out to B&H and we asked them if they would be open to sponsoring it. And the biggest thing that we had to do was really make sure that we sold them the value proposition on their end. Because we had, Doc says, and I stalked him for years. Doc did stalk me for 2 years. That is very true. That's a side story. We'll tell that on a different day, Doc. But what's crazy is, if you know your audience, everything we were talking about beforehand, right? If you know your audience, because this is the audience that you want to serve, this is the audience that you feel like you're a part of, then it becomes very easy to think of who or what products would they find value in, and then you can go directly to that company, and then you can pitch your channel, your podcast, your live stream to them in a way. Because I've said this about video production companies, but the same thing is true for you, like for brands. Like if you're trying to get brand deals, the truth is. And I'm sorry to say this on Ecamm's channel, but Ecamm, y'all, I love y'all, so I'm just going to keep it a buck. At the end of the day, all these companies, they like the idea of a YouTube video, but ultimately what they're trying to do is, acquire customers that will find their products valuable.
Yeah.
And so they have a problem that they're looking for a solution for. And so that solution typically is brand awareness, selling a widget, just mass understanding of what the product is sometimes, because I've definitely had companies reach out and they're like, hey, people don't understand what we do. Can you help us make a video that makes this clearer, right? And so if you can understand that every brand that you are thinking about possibly working with, that they have a problem and they're hoping that your sponsorship or whatever will be the solution for that problem, that's ultimately why they choose to work with you. So when you think about it from that mindset, when you start pitching the opportunity to work with them, you can think about that problem and sell them the solution. And when you start selling the solution, now you start using your metrics as a benefit to help sell that solution. So for example, when we did our brand deal with B&H, and obviously because of contracts, I can't tell you exactly what the number was, but when we did it, everything was tied to how we were going to solve that problem. So when I went to B&H, one of the things I let them know was that, we're going to be doing a collaborative episode. We're going to have a bunch of different creators on that episode. And so that's going to hopefully bring in more attention. You can never guarantee attention, but you can give them a rough idea. You can also tell them exactly why their target audience is going to be on the stream. And that's because for a year before that, we had been making content directly for filmmakers, videographers, gearheads So when it was time to partner with B&H, it was like, yeah, guess what? You're getting a bunch of gearheads. This is exactly who you want to talk to. We've brought them together, and I am basically giving you the opportunity to speak directly to them. But then ultimately, it also came down to what did they want to push out. Now, for B&H at the time, one of their big promotions, they were talking about the Paybu card. And so they were like, is there a way to make this organically reach into what we're talking about? Well, of course it did, because I don't know about you, Jarrell, but I know I have a balance on my Paybu card.
I definitely have a balance on my Paybu card.
So we were already users and we were customers of theirs, and our audience would have found that valuable. And so that to me is, again, just like understanding who your audience is, it's super important that you also understand the value that you can offer to the actual company that you're reaching out to when it comes to brand deals. So, Mr. Richardson here says, I think he's supposed to say big bow on his Paybu card. So yeah, no, I bro, trust me. And it's it always feels like as soon as I get it paid off, there's like something else that comes out, and I'm like immediately ready to throw it all away and get that balance right back up.
Oh, 100%. No, we got that big back Paybu card.
So, bro, and Doc says, game recognized game. A new Brandon and JP were legit good people. Again, your vibes attract a tribe. Put out good, get good back. And that is so true. I love what Doc said there. Like the next part, and this is sort of like, this is like the real, like I understand like to a certain extent when it comes to, you know, getting monetized or whatever on YouTube. One of the things that you're trying to do is obviously make money. Like we get that. That is 100% like that just makes sense. What is it? Someone's hierarchy of needs. What is it? Laszlo's? Is it Laszlo's hierarchy of needs? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure. But I understand that at a certain level, you just need to get paid. But I will also tell you that when it comes to working with brands and monetizing, who you choose to work with, I think is just as important as the balance that they're willing to give you. And so what I mean by that is I just told this story on my main channel, but I'll tell it here for the Ecamm fam. And that is when it comes to working with Ecamm, this episode of Anatomy of a Livestream was technically supposed to happen yesterday. We've been doing this show every single Thursday at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. And yesterday, literally minutes before the show happened, I sort of had like a family emergency. And I'm just going to put half my business out there. But like when that family emergency kicked off, like a lot of people, my brain just was like, take care of the emergency. I completely forgot. I completely forgot about this show. I completely forgot about life. All I was thinking about was my kids in the moment, right? And when it happened, because I work with Ecamm and because when you work with people who you actually know and you like and they're good people beyond the bag, beyond the balance, I was able to get on the phone with somebody from Ecamm and we worked out a plan to be able to basically change the show over to now. And they were so amazing and so easy to work with. And like, I can tell you, like when it comes to working with companies, that's why it's so important to pick the right companies, because yes, these are companies, right? And yes, you might be trying to make money via monetization, but the truth is that like you need people to be there when people moments happen. And so I think that when it comes to working with the companies that you reach out to, the other thing that you want to be looking into, not only just the finances, but also is, are these people that you want to spend a weekend with, you want to go to dinner with? Because these are going to be the relationships that, as far as I'm concerned, are going to last the longevity of your creative career than just a one-off video to make, you know, a few extra bucks to talk about some random company that you don't really care about. That makes sense?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. All right. So, Jarrell, you have been with me doing YouTube now for a year and a half. Chat, I'm going to ask you guys this question, and then I want you to sort of answer it for me.
Yeah.
But, chat, tell me, what is the one thing that you are currently struggling with the most when it comes to getting those brand deals? And Jarrell, the way I want you to sort of answer this question is, what is one thing that you have learned, like what was one of the biggest, what's one of the most important things you think you've learned working with me over the last few years, now being able to do brand deals on a channel that all intents and purposes is fairly small in the world of YouTube?
It is all about relationships. When I tell you, I've always wanted to go to like an NAB. I've always wanted to go to like a vid summit. I've always wanted to go to like these different conferences, and I'll get there and I'll be more of like a consumer. I'll want to look at the products. I'll want to literally see what's going on. But when I tell you, I'm about to say something that like, I don't know if Brandon was even going to say, but one of the things that I realized is those are business trips. Those are not like fun trips. Like, we'll have fun. If you go back to our channel, you can see we live stream while we were at NAB this year. But when we weren't on camera, we were meeting with the heads of marketing at different booths, and we were finding the people to have real conversations with, because for so many people, especially when you're just sending a cold email and you're just basically just being like, hey, I'm so-and-so and I have this size of channel, or I don't have this size of channel, I would like to represent or whatever, please send this out. Like, you're one of probably 100, if not 1,000 emails. Mm-hmm. But when you go to an NAB or you go to any of these like different things that you can go to and you shake hands with someone, they're able to like literally see who you are and be able to carry on a conversation with them. And then you're able to pitch to them actual ideas, not just I want free stuff or I want you to give me money, but we have an event coming up where this is what we do and this is how we could partner and this is how it can help your brand be pushed forward. Bro, the way that they get excited talking to people and give you a business card, and so now you're not just randomly reaching out to someone random in the country and the company, you're able to talk to someone specific. Mm-hmm. Dude, that goes such a long way with securing a business deal.
Yeah, 100%. I think to what his point is, like with the relationship, it is so true. Now, Uncle Todd Comedy says, I don't know where to actually start. And I know the hardest part at the very beginning is that first step. How do you actually go about finding that first deal, right? How do you get that first bit of monetization? As I mentioned before, you can try to sit around and wait until, you get a company that, will reach out to you. But in that situation, this is something that I've learned is that, when I first started doing YouTube 9 years ago, there weren't a lot of like influencers, right? Today, tons. They're on TikTok, they're on X, they're on Instagram, they're on YouTube, they're on Twitch. And so with there being so many more, it can be difficult for you to even stand out. And so one thing that you really want to do is, like I mentioned at the very beginning, if you know who your audience is, go look for brands and companies that service your audience specifically. I'll tell you guys a quick little story when it comes to monetization. I have been offered some really great monetization deals, right? But here's the truth. The deals that come from brands that are not associated with filmmaking, which is what my channel is primarily focused around, they are pennies compared to a well-targeted brand deal. So when I have filmmaking brands reach out, they offer way more compared to where in the past, I hate to give this brand any shout, but Manscaped reached out and was like, hey, we want to sponsor a video. And I was like, oh, this is cool. They're a big brand. They're gonna pay well. No. And it was because I realized, and what I learned is it wasn't them trying to be cheap. It's just it wasn't as targeted. Their audience is so broad, so who they can work with is also very broad. So if you have a very targeted audience, you can have a much more narrow, like roadmap to that audience, which makes that narrow roadmap way more valuable. And so the first thing I would tell you, Todd, is to really look at your audience and think about what is something that your audience finds value in. And then from there, it is about reaching out to them directly. Now, the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to build a natural relationship with them beforehand. whether that is, you are a consumer of their product, you're a customer. For me, even when it came to working with Ecamm, I needed to use Ecamm. I needed to test it out. I wanted to make sure that it was going to be the solution that I was looking for. And then when it was, and it was in a very big way because we were using something else that was trash, it became a no-brainer. It was like, oh, this is the solution, and I'm going to tell people about this anyway. So let's work together and figure out the best way we can do this. And so that's the one thing that I would strongly recommend that you do, Todd, when it first comes to starting out, is really think about your audience. Now, if you think to yourself, my audience is maybe too broad, I don't know, because I noticed it says Uncle Todd Comedy. So I'm going to take a guess here and say that you create comedy content. And so you might be thinking to yourself like, oh, it might be too broad for this. Maybe my audience, I don't know exactly who would be the perfect match for them. Sometimes the best thing you can offer your audience is an exclusive or a premium version of what you already do. And so what I mean by that is, like, on our channel, we talk a lot about filmmaking, we talk about video production. And so one thing that we have actually done is, while yes, we think that some brands will be great to talk about, we know that a lot of people within our audience are trying to grow as filmmakers. They're trying to take that next step and really improve their business. And so we decided to put together our own mentorship program, and that is what we're offering to our audience. And so sometimes it doesn't always necessarily mean that you have to go to an outside brand to actually try to monetize what you're doing. Sometimes you can do it with something that you're already offering. And for us, we're already offering education. We just decided to offer a more premium version of that, where we can be more hands-on, one-on-one, and assist our audience throughout their creative journey. And so that's the thing that we attempted to be able to actually pull off. And we've already had people sign up for our membership. We have a few calls that we actually have to make today and next week to get a few more people signed up for the mentorship. But that is something that you can do. It doesn't always have to be necessarily another brand. It could be something of value that you can directly add to your audience. So hopefully that was helpful. And then and so here's the funny thing about the internet, right? People come across your content all the time. So Nerd Affiliate just said, I was like, why does Brandon look so familiar? I was just watching your 10 DJI Ronin tips video before my first paid gig. Thanks for the help. Here's the crazy part is, and this is what I love about YouTube, and whether you're doing live streams or you're making videos, is that anytime that you make a piece of content on YouTube, I always kind of think about it as potentially like creating like a little employee that's just out there working. Because if you make something of value and you offer something of value, then whenever you make that video, people can come across it at any time. I think Nerd Affiliate, I made that video, beginning of the year. I think that's when that video came out.
Yeah.
And so, the fact that, they're just now seeing it just lets you know that people can come across your stuff at any time. And so that the focus should be to always create value first, because not only will people who watch it as soon as you upload it obviously retain that value, but also you never know that like in 6 months to a year from now, somebody might come across that piece of content. And if you're thinking value first now, then as you grow, you will naturally bring more people to your platform, and then they will also be able to get value. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make when they first start out.
Yeah.
Is when you first start out making content, you think, no one's watching this, I'm not getting a lot of views, so I can kind of just phone it in.
Yeah.
But it's actually kind of betting against yourself when you do that, because the goal is to grow, right?
100%.
And so if the goal is to grow, then you make something today because you know the next video is going to be so good that more people are going to even see that, which will ultimately bring them to the past video. And so that's why one of the things I always say is, like, no matter where you are in your creative journey, create every single video as if the next video is going to go viral, and send somebody to that video. Yeah. So even if you're worried that video is not going to work.
Yeah, definitely. Like, always be improving. Your first video might suck because you don't know what you don't know, but take one thing that you can do better and make it better, and get better over time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. So Jarrell, advice for anybody who is thinking about just getting started. They're maybe a little nervous. They're not sure how to go about the monetization, or they're still working on building out their audience. What do you think is one thing that we have done that has really helped set us apart and put us in the position we are today?
I think you hear this all the time, and it may even sound cliche, but we've said it, finding your community. Man, I do think that you would find so much value in finding your niche, finding something very specific that you might not know everything about. We don't know everything about filmmaking. We don't know everything about every piece of gear. We don't know every way to be able to make money, but we do know something, and that can be of value because there's probably someone that knows less than us. And so if we can focus on finding who we can best relate to and pass knowledge on to, whether it's entertaining, you do it in an entertaining way, maybe you do it in an educational way, maybe you just find a new way to present to your audience. That's going to be so important. So that I would say, and Brandon has said it a couple times, but like, man, it's so important to know who you're trying to serve, what content you're trying to deliver to someone. If you're all over the place, I feel like it's going to be that much harder to grow, because if you make a video and people love you for that video, but then you go and make it something completely different the next week, all of those people that love that video, they come back and they're like, what in the world is this? Like, and then they're just kind of like, they might not unsubscribe, but then the thing that they fell in love with you for, especially if you get a hit video, you know, you come back the next week, we need to learn how to double, quadruple, tenfold, hundredfold down on that video. Because if you figured out something that worked, run that play again and again and again, because you are going to grow, but you're not going to grow if you shotgun approach and you do too much.
Yeah, and you know, something that Doc actually just put in the chat, he says, I have a video I thought sucked when I uploaded it, but it has 500K views and generated 6.6K subs. Doc, I have the same video. I got the same video. Jarrell, what video is it?
Canva.
That's right. This boy know. So look, it is kind of crazy how this happens. The last thing I'm going to say before, the last piece of advice I want to give you guys before we get ready to wrap this thing up today, is the other most important thing you have to think about when it comes to your audience, and especially when it comes to monetization, is how is your audience going to receive it? The truth is that, like, we know that we've all seen those channels where every video, it feels like it's sponsored, right? Like we've been there. Or you're watching, and this happened to me the other day. I was watching a live stream on Twitch, and they had their AdSense turned on. So they're monetized, right? But man, when I tell you, they had ads playing like every 5 minutes. It was genuinely frustrating, to a point to where this was my first time watching this live stream from this creator. And bro, I don't want to watch him anymore. I won't click on one of his live streams anymore, because I know my experience last time was so bad because it was so overly salesy. And so the last piece of advice I'm going to give you guys when it comes to monetizing your content is to really focus on how your audience is going to perceive that sponsorship. I'll tell you, bro, this happened to me. I did a sponsorship for the actual company's name is Skylum. They make like an AI thing for photographers, right? And so they reached out to me and asked me to do a sponsor video. And I was like, yeah, sure, no big deal. I used the program. It was good. They were releasing a new update to it. So I was more than happy to do a dedicated video about it. So I make a video, I post it, and I'm happy with it, right? I watched the video on YouTube. It looks fine. Well, I then later on, I do this every now and again, I'll go watch YouTube with my premium turned off underneath a different account. So that way I can just see what it's like to experience YouTube without premium. The way they had their ad on the video before the video started. So the pre-roll ad was that company. The sidebar ad was them. The pop-up ad at the beginning of the video was also them. And then halfway through the video, I start doing an ad read for them. If I was a viewer, I would have hated my video. And so what that taught me was, man, the way people consume your video is not always the way you think they're going to consume it. And so you really got to think, especially when you're talking about monetization, is how are people going to be consuming this? And so one thing that we do, especially on our live stream, is we know a lot of people find us for the very first time when we're live. So we actually don't monetize our live stream while it's live. And so what I mean by that is we turn YouTube ads off, because when someone's consuming our live stream for the very first time, we want them to have the best experience possible. So we are actually foregoing making money quick to be able to say we want to provide the best online experience possible. Now, if you watch the replay, yeah, there's going to be ads in there. Or if you're watching one of our videos or that have our clips, we'll have an ad playing in there. But we understand the experience is different. If you're watching a live stream and then in the middle of the live stream an ad plays, and then you come out of the ad and we just kept moving forward and you feel like you missed something, it's not like watching TV. It's not like a football game where everybody takes an ad break at the same time. So you really got to think about how the audience is engaging with those monetization methods that you're putting into your stream. I get it. At the end of the day, yes, we do want to make money from our content. And I think as creators, you should make money from your content. You're providing value to the world. But you do want to think about how the audience is consuming those ads or that monetization deal. So that way you can make sure that you're structuring it in the best way possible, or at least in a way where you fully understand how your audience is having to run into that. And it's funny, Ron says, yeah, that drives me crazy. I can't tell you how many times I've been watching a live stream and that happens. And then, yeah, Ty says, you can turn ads off during a live stream, # mind blown. Yes, and that's on our side. We have decided on our side to turn the ads off for when we're live streaming because we feel like it would be a disservice. You've decided to spend time with us. We're going to turn the ads off. And then if you like what we do, then you will support us in other ways, whether that's through super chats or through signing up for like our mentorship program, or if you're going to, check out our affiliate links that we're terrible at putting in the description, you'll support us in other ways. And our way of supporting our audience is just by not having those ads on, because we felt like it was a bad experience on Fridays when we do our live streams.
100%.
So, I hope that you guys found some value in that. I would love to hear you guys' final thoughts. Sound off in the chat. We are trying to make a wave. I got to say thank you to Ecamm for being so understanding with my schedule yesterday. So y'all do me a huge favor. Make me look good for Ecamm and hit a thumbs up in the on this live stream. So that way we can, just support and say thank you, Ecamm, for supporting me. And then I just want to also say thank you guys for supporting me as well. Now I know some of you guys are probably maybe on the fence. Maybe you haven't even started. Well, what's crazy is that here on Ecamm's channel, if you haven't yet, definitely hit subscribe, because they do a lot of live streams where they teach different elements of live streaming and being a creator, not only just about, and like what I love about Ecamm's page, honestly, is that a lot of their live streams actually don't even have anything to do with like using the software. Like when we partner together to do this show, I'm not actually teaching you guys anything about Ecamm software. We use it, but I'm not teaching you anything about it. We're literally just trying to make you a better creator in every way we can. And that's what I like about Ecamm's channel, is that a lot of their content is really just like driven to help you be a better streamer, YouTube creator, video creator, whatever it might be. And so you guys should definitely subscribe to this channel right now. I would really appreciate it. And I'll also say right after this, our good friend Doc is actually going to be going live right here on Ecamm's channel as well. And he's going to be talking about how to really just get started. So if you've been thinking about live streaming, maybe you've been a little nervous about it, how do you get going? Doc and them are in the middle of a series. I believe they've been live streaming every day, which I mean,
Dang.
hats off to you. Show that bald head, Doc. But but yo, it has been an honor to be live with you guys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this and you guys found value on this stream. This has been an amazing experiment. In case you weren't there, we started this stream over on my channel. And then we used this feature built into YouTube and we brought the audience over here to the Ecamm channel. And personally, I think it has been a massive success. And I appreciate you guys for doing this experiment with us. And hopefully you guys got some value out of this. So thank you guys so much. As Mr. Camera Junkie says, Ecamm for the win. It has absolutely been amazing. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. And if you guys have any other questions, do me a huge favor. Sound off in the comment section, especially if you're watching this on the replay, and then I'll be taking my time to go through that and answer any questions that you guys have. But thank you guys so much for rocking with us. It's been so much fun. Doc, you're up next, my boy. It's time for you to get ready to go live. And again, shout out to Ecamm and everybody who helped make this show possible. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you. Jarrell, thank you, my boy.
Glad to be here, Ecamm and Creative families.
Well, real quick, somebody says, I want to learn more. There is a link in the description to sign up for the email list where we're going to be sending out more information about this too. So that's super exciting. Can't wait to hang out with you guys. I'll be back next Thursday, back at our original time, 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, 12 o'clock Eastern Time. It's been amazing. Thank you guys so much, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace, y'all.
Peace.